What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Now in today's video we're going to be looking over this poll that the HBC released. I checked last night, it had 181 responses, and this morning it has 181 responses, so no one has answered it overnight, which means it's probably a good time to get into the data and have a look at what things mean. If you haven't answered this poll yet, it's pinned at the top of the forums. I'll also put the link in the description. I recommend you go answer it. They say they have enough data now to start making balances, but we will see if they account for new answers. I'm not sure. So it's broken into class strength and class enjoyment. I think strength is more how it feels to play as, and enjoyment is more how it feels to play against. It was very detailed what they wanted you to do when you answer the poll. It doesn't actually say so now, and it's broken down into 7 categories, with 4 being average, 7 being overpowered, and 1 being underpowered. And then you also have no opinion, which is just sort of stuffed on the end. I don't know why it's. I know why it's there, but it's quite annoying because it makes the data look kind of skewed a bit more if people are clicking on no opinion, but it is what it is. Okay, so starting off with the skeleton, it's sort of centralized around this average column and then tending towards the higher end of things. Not many people are saying it's completely overpowered, but you can see it is going towards this more overpowered side. I also think skeleton needs a slight nerf, but unfortunately in the hopper meta, skeleton is very unplayable. If you get jumped, your main resource is a bow, and if people aren't taking knockback from your bow, you're screwed. It is what it is. You can't really balance around hoppers though, and in which case skeleton against legit players is very strong, and you can sort of see from enjoyment it being on this higher end of things. I thought it was quite annoying to play against, but it's fun to play as. Definitely. Permanent speed 2, pretty much. It's fun to play as. I think this sort of lines up with what I would say. And then Zombie peaks in this 5th column. That's also what I'd say. Zombie's currently a bit better than average. And because of it being better than average, you can see the enjoyment levels are quite high as well. My worry is that if you nerf Zombie again, to bring it in line with being average, you lose the enjoyment, because Zombie's only fun right now because it's strong again, and you sort of revert the balance that happened, and it goes back to being boring, and because it feels boring, it feels underpowered, basically, and that's why Zombie's in a weird place. I honestly think it needs a revamp of the resistance passive, but that's just what I think. Okay, moving on to Creeper. Creeper's definitely trending towards this lower side of things. Creeper's had quite a lot of love recently, but it does still feel underpowered. A lot of people are saying they just want to remove the damage from Prime TNT, although the damage is pretty negligible now, and people are still saying it's underpowered. So I'd agree. I don't know what needs to be changed. I'm trying to think of the passives it has. Like Speed 2 when you get low is cool, Prime TNT is cool, so it's probably the main ability that is flawed at this point. You can't really change it without making it either too overpowered or too similar to HB/Dread. Because if you say, may detonate, activate after 1 or 2 seconds, it becomes really similar to just being a Dreadlord ability, but on a 5-hit basis. So it's in a weird place. I don't play Creeper enough, so I can't really share too much insight, and it's very strongly average enjoyment. I would put it a bit higher for enjoyment compared to something like HB and Dread. Anytime you use TNT, you get Speed 2. I find that fun. I think that's cool. You can knock enemies away. I find it fun. Yeah. Enderman. See, people are complaining that Enderman is underpowered, and then you come and look at this, and it's clearly not underpowered. Like, you're peaking in 5. You sort of got not really a normal around 5. It does trend towards these higher tiers. Enderman's not overpowered, okay? I actually think Enderman's fine right now. I don't think it deserves a nerf, even if it is slightly stronger in some situations. And look at the enjoyment for Enderman. I mean, that sort of shows you that mobility classes do lead the way if you want to have fun in Mega Walls. Moving on to Herobrine. See, again, this is weird. So, we're not quite reaching into this extremely overpowered side of things. We are just very evenly spread across average, balanced, and quite strong. I don't know how I feel about Herobrine. I think Herobrine's actually fine right now. It's a tank meta, but that doesn't mean that Herobrine's bad, okay? Herobrine does its job really well. It just, it's higher skill capped than it has been in the past. And people are also saying Herobrine's really fun. I mean, you got 25 votes for this most enjoyable category. I agree. You basically have permanent speed 2 as a melee class compared to skeleton. I think Herobrine's really fun. People do struggle with it because of the low health pool, but it has the regen from Flurry. I think it's okay right now. Spider's still peaking in this really strong category, even though on the forums people are complaining Spider's not fun anymore and it's bad. I mean, look at this. You have 59 votes for people saying it's really enjoyable. You can literally fly across the map. That's fun, okay? Doesn't matter how balanced it is, it's fun to fly around. Um, I do sort of agree with this. I actually think it's balanced again. You'll sort of see. Okay. Yeah, I think this is sort of right. It's situational though, and it's really hard to vote on this because in a whole, Spider is completely useless now, more or less, except for the reworked Venom Strikes. And the fact that it can open up holes, I suppose. So 55 votes in 5 is it being used on land mainly, and you're meant to vote for a class in the hands of a good player, and in the hands of a good player, Spider's nutty. Okay, so I agree with this. Squid, I'm a bit worried with Squid. It's definitely 46 votes for being overpowered. I think Squid is definitely one of those classes that in the hands of a legit player, you do not see the results being this high. I seriously worry this is being based on just sort of closet cheaters and blatant cheaters. I love Squids. I've just got it P3 recently, and I could not tell you it was the most overpowered class, you know. And enjoyment-wise, it's a bit worse than it is balance. But again, enjoyment does come with classes being strong. So I suppose, yeah, it's fine for enjoyment. I'd probably place it in about a 5, maybe a 6. Cow. I mean, look at that. I'd say that's what you call a balanced class, right? It's just perfect. 70 votes in average. You've sort of got it fading both sides. Maybe a bit stronger towards 5. Yeah, Cow it's really good. It's just not fun. And this, like, look at the enjoyment. I mean, definitely tending towards the not fun side of things. Cow would be more fun if it was as good as Zombie, but it's just a bit worse than Zombie right now, probably. And that's why it's not as fun. Didn't get as high enjoyment as Zombie. Moving on to Shark. Gee, okay, Shark is also, like, taking DPS classes. Shark, I'd say, is a bit better than Herobrine right now, but it's nowhere near as played as Herobrine. People aren't giving these balances a chance, I wouldn't say. But it is nicely around this average. I don't think it needs a buff or a nerf. It's got quite a bit of love recently, and the enjoyment and balancing strength both show that. Dreadlord, slightly peaking in the higher end of things again. This is very similar to Herobrine. I think it's actually got higher enjoyment than Herobrine. Let me just have a look. Yeah, slightly higher than a Herobrine. I do think Dread is a slight better Herobrine, so I think that makes sense. Shaman. On the forums, people complain. Shaman's not good. It needs a buff. Like, look at this. No, it doesn't. Shaman's fine. It's just situational. It takes skill to play Shaman these days. I know Brain Dead, right click, nado spamming doesn't take skill, but Shaman does take a little bit of skill because it has low health and it's enjoyable. Look at this. People think it's fun to nado spam. So do I. It's fine. Arcanist is actually surprising for me. I really did put Arcanist on the lower side of things. But it's got a nice normal distribution again. A few people think it's overpowered, a few people think it's underpowered, you're averaging around a balanced class. I mean, I don't play Arcanist enough. I think if it was a bit better, I would play it more. That's why I put it down lower. But if there are people out there that enjoy it, then Arcanist is fine. Golem again. Golem's enjoyment's a lot higher than I thought it would be, to be honest. I don't see how... I mean, Golem, again, is tank meta, and fun comes from playing the classes that do well, which is probably why Golem's enjoyment's up. But balance-wise, I think this is fine. I think Golem's in a good place right now. I've played, like, 8 Golem games in the last 2 days. I know it's nutty, but I've enjoyed Golem, so I think this is pretty accurate. Now Blaze, okay, this is surprising. People have told me to play Blaze, and I've been staying away from it, so I don't really want to give my opinion, but people are sort of putting it around this average mark again. That's interesting. A lot of people are voting on Blaze being average, but I don't know how many people are actually out here playing Blaze, which is my biggest concern, because I voted for Blaze, and I don't play Blaze, so I don't know how much my opinion should be counting for that, and that's why I don't want to talk about it too much. Pigment. Pigment is, people are still saying it's overpowered. Slightly better than 4. I disagree. I think it is bang on 4. Like, it's really fun still, honestly, because of the resistance 2 and stuff, and the ability is just satisfying to use. It's a really well thought out class. Okay, Hunter. Hunter's on the lower side of things, easily. Look at that. You do peak in the average, and then you drop off and off and off. And look at this enjoyment. It's almost a rectangle. I mean, some people find it fun, some people find it boring. I would like to see the enjoyment increase for Hunter. I don't know how you do that, per se. Um, but Hunter's definitely a bit weaker than it could be right now, compared to other duelists. And then we get on to Pirate. Honestly, Pirate's the best class in the game right now. To me, it's undisputable. It's just overpowered. But the problem with Pirate is, it's also the highest skill cap class in the game right now, okay? You can't just pick up Pirate and sort of dominate with it. You need to be good. You need to know how Pirate works. You need to know how the ability is going to travel. You need to know when to use different Punch Bow, Power Bow, Fire Sword. You need to know how to obtain those items, because it's not easy to always get those items, because it is random and you don't always get all the items unless you get like a good 20 kills maybe. And people aren't saying Pirates. No, that is on the higher side of enjoyment. Yeah, for sure. Um, the thing is, because Pirate's such a high skill cap class, I don't think it needs a massive nerf. I just think it needs a little bit of the Fire Sword should go down to Fire Aspect 1, and the Absorption should go down to Absorption 1 as well when you get your passive Sea Legs. I think that's all it needs right now, and I don't think you should nerf it because it's good in the hands of a few players. Wealth still, people complain that Wealth's bad, and then you look at this and it gets pushed to the higher side of things, definitely. But I do think Wealth and Squid are both the strongest classes for cheaters right now, and I don't really know how you balance around that, to be honest. In the hands of a legit player, even a good legit player, I do think it's average and fun. It's definitely not, yeah, it's definitely one of the more fun classes, jump pots and speed ability and stuff. Look at that, Moleman's got really high fun levels. You can trap with it, and you can run around the whole map and just troll people. That's why it's fun. And I'm glad to see people are recognising that Moleman's a better class right now. I think that's pretty agreeable. No one's really going for these lower, underpowered votes. Cool. Phoenix again. I actually did a no opinion for Phoenix because I just don't play it. It's not me. But I would have expected it to get these lower votes for both fun and strength. It's just not enjoyed by many people right now. I've seen that from people I know who play Phoenix, even if I'm not one of them. Now, Assassin's definitely this lower side of strength. I mean, like, you got 36 votes for it being completely underpowered, which is more than Snowman, and I'd agree it should be more than Snowman. I mean, like, are these the last 3? Okay, no. But 3 of these last 4, these are 3 of the probably weakest classes in the game right now. Assassin, Snowman, Renegade. And Snowman peaks a bit more on average. I think Snowman's a bit better. Of the 3, Snowman's definitely the best, in my opinion. Assassin's the worst, and Renegade's in the middle. Enjoyment-wise, I don't know why Renegade's so low. The grapple hook is fun. The power 1 bow is fun. Snowman, again. Like, Assassin's is really fun. But people are probably putting it lower because it's bad, and you can't easily roll a game with Assassin. I guess that's why it gets lower enjoyment. I don't think that means the class is flawed. I just think that means that a more balanced class will bring enjoyment. Yeah, Snowman. See, I don't know how you'd fix Snowman. There's a select few Snowman mains out there, which is a problem because it's hard to gather feedback when there's like 2 people actively playing Snowman. And I can't imagine they all have the same views on how it should be balanced. And I understand that you should balance the game for snowman players because you don't want to take their class away from them, but you also want to attract more people to it. So I don't know how you do that. I think Assassin is in a fair place. It just needs a few balance tweaks, honestly. A few number changes. I don't think it needs like a rework or anything. Snowman maybe needs a rework to a few bits of it. And Renegade, I honestly just think with Renegade, you need to reset the timer every time you shoot a new arrow in someone. Because at the moment, I saw this on the forum, someone explained it, how, I think it was Aquatic Turtle, who's a good Renegade player. You shoot someone, you run away, you come back like 50 seconds later, and you shoot them 5 more times. So you now have 6 arrows in them, but you've only got like 5 seconds left to rend because you shot them ages, like a little bit ago, and that started the 60-second timer. It's like, yeah, now I can't rend them. Now my arrows are useless, and I can't play my class. That's why Renegade's flawed. Even with 60, you could make it 2 minutes, and that problem would still occur in some situations. And then auto, yeah, it's higher things. Like auto's fun. It's good. It's just not fun still. I know. I know. Auto's just not played. You don't see auto. You don't check tab and see auto being completely played. I wonder if these 4 classes are at the end because this is what the HPC would think them to be. It does sort of go from stronger to weaker classes. Actually, no. Some of the stronger classes are in the middle. To be fair. But anyway, what do you think? Do you think this is accurate? Do you think this is what you thought? Are there any classes where you put like extremely high and the results show it being extremely low? Tell me what you think in the comments. This is a 16-minute video. How the hell do I cut that down? I mean, there's like what, 18 classes in the game right now? How do I? Oh well. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you sort of agree with what the HPC is doing here. I think this is really good because it means that the HPC aren't gathering information from a select few players. They are getting information from a large source of Mega Walls players, and that's what needs to happen with the game. So, tell me what you think. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.